Hold up your hand, the one you'd use to write your name, throw a ball, or unlock your phone. For about 9 out of 10 people watching this, that's the right hand. And you never chose it. You never voted on it. It was just always there. Here's the strange part. That same 9 out of 10 pattern shows up everywhere. Every country, every culture. As far back as we can trace human hands in the record, almost an entire species, quietly agreeing to favor the same side. And when you look at the rest of the animal kingdom, nothing else comes close. Now, most people assume handedness is no big deal. Some go right, some go left. Just a random little quirk, right? But run the math, and random falls apart instantly. If handedness were pure chance, you'd expect a coin flip, roughly 50-50, and our closest relatives actually look a lot like that. Chimps, gorillas, as a group, far more balanced. An individual chimp might favor one hand for a task, but zoom out to the whole species, and there's no strong, shared, one-sided tilt. Humans break that rule completely, around 90%, leaning the same direction for an astonishingly long time. That's not a coin flip. That's not a quirk. A number that lopsided and that stable is a clue. So for years, scientists chased the obvious suspects. Maybe it's a single gene, one switch for right, one for left. Maybe it's culture, teachers pushing kids toward the proper hand. Maybe it's just tools, but none of it fully held up. There's no lone handedness gene flipping the whole species. Cultures that never pressured their children still landed around 90% right, and plenty of animals use tools without their entire species picking a side. Every explanation scratched the surface, but missed the core. Something older and more physical was driving this. In 2026, researchers at Oxford and the University of Reading went hunting for it. Instead of studying only humans, they compared hand preference across 41 primate species, more than 2,000 individual animals. And they asked one simple question: which trait actually predicts a strong, one-sided bias? One answer rose above the rest: how we move. Most primates live in the trees or travel on all fours. Their hands are busy, climbing, gripping, holding up their own weight. But somewhere on our path, our ancestors stood up and started walking on 2 legs. And that freed the hands. Free hands can specialize. They can carry, throw, shape, do fine, delicate work. And once a hand is free to get good at something, evolution rewards the ones that commit. Being excellent with one hand beats being average with 2. So standing upright didn't just change how we traveled, it set the stage for us to pick a side.
But walking only explains why we picked a hand, not why almost all of us picked the same one. For that, you have to go inside the skull. Because as humans evolved, our brains didn't just grow, they exploded in size and in complexity. And a big brain doesn't stay perfectly symmetrical. It splits the work between its 2 halves. In most people, the left half takes charge of fine motor control and something else: language. The left side of the brain runs a huge share of how we speak and how we understand words. And here's the twist that ties everything together. The left half of the brain controls the right side of the body. So the very same half that specialized in language also steers your dominant hand. As our ancestors' brains grew more lopsided, more specialized, that left side dominance nudged the whole species toward the right hand. And this is the part that should give you chills. Your handedness isn't a random habit. It's a visible shadow of one of the most human things about you. A brain that divided itself into specialists. One side leaning hard into language, logic, and precise control. The right hand you're staring at is a fingerprint of the talking, tool-making, big-brained animal we became.
And the researchers found a way to test the whole idea, using a human that's been extinct for tens of thousands of years. Homo floresiensis. We call them the Hobbit, barely 3.5 feet tall, tiny-brained, living on a remote island in Indonesia. Their bodies were still built partly for climbing, and their brains stayed small. So the model made a prediction. With less commitment to upright walking and a smaller brain, the Hobbit should show a much weaker right-hand bias than us. And that's exactly what the numbers said. A vanished species, quietly confirming the theory. Walking plus a big brain equals strong right-handedness. Less of both equals less of the tilt, which leaves the obvious question. If evolution pushed us this hard toward the right, what about left-handers? Good news. Nothing's broken. Researchers think left-handedness often comes down to small, random variation in how each brain wires itself before birth. No defect, No mistake, just natural variety at the edge of a very human pattern. So the next time you sign your name, or wave, or reach for your coffee without a second thought, remember what that tiny automatic choice is really made of. It's the echo of the day our ancestors stood up and walked, and the day their brains grew large and lopsided enough to speak. Almost everyone is right-handed, for nearly the same reason almost everyone can talk. Two sides of the same strange, wonderfully human story. Pretty incredible for something you've been doing your entire life without ever noticing.